Okay, so like every parent, I look for ways to try to get my kids to read more. I'm an avid reader myself. Have been since I was a kid. I'm Gen X. We didn't have, 400 stations. We had sort of cable, one TV, maybe two in the house, a little bit different world then. But I think it's really important for kids to read a lot. I have three of them. So I issued them a summer reading challenge, and they've taken it kind of to the extreme level. And we started with DragonLance books, and I've been posting about it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and other places. But everybody asks me where to start in the series. It's a 220 odd book series. It's got a ton of stuff in it. Where do you start when you got a series that's that long? And how do you really kind of get into it? And what's age appropriate? What's not age appropriate? Well, my kids are 13, 12, and 10. The 10-year-old didn't really care that much. She's kind of off doing her own thing, but she's kind of a little young for what we're doing anyway. But Dragons of Autumn Twilight, the 13-year-old and the 12-year-old are just ripping into this series. They're on book 7 or 8 or 9 at this point. And I told them I'd read in parallel. I think I'm a book and a half behind them. And I've read a lot of them before. They wanted to see how long it would take the whole family to read all 220 books. So we'll see how long that takes. But I get a lot of questions about where to start. Well, Dragons of Autumn Twilight is, in my opinion, the de facto, you got to start here. It was the first book written mid 1980s. I came across the series when just this book and Dragons of Winter Night were out. And this is really what introduces you to the world of Krynn. It sort of says, okay, where do we live? What are the races? Are there elves? Are there, what is a kender? Magic users. What are the rules of magic users? Fighters, knights. It really is a great way to world build. But the thing I love about it that these two authors are just really good at is it intermixes the world building with action. It doesn't take 10 pages of here's how we prepare dinner and what certain things look like and the bark on the tree. It doesn't do that, right? It kind of world builds within the action. If something's important for you to know, it comes up. If it's not really important, it may come up later when it is. But it really immerses you in this new world that allows you to experience it through the eyes of the characters, and I think has some characters in it that are very relatable to everybody. It was written in the mid 1980s. Things were a little bit different then. So if you're looking for something that says we're going to be politically correct in all cases, you can probably find something to be upset about. That being said, it's not that much of it. Okay. So it is age appropriate for kids sort of, I would say 11, 12 and up. Before then, the books are a little bit dense. I won't say the reading is hard, but there's just a lot of it, right? So the attention span may not be there. But my middle school age boys are just loving it to death, and there's nothing in it that's really inappropriate for that age of kids. But I'm enjoying reading through it for probably the seventh or eighth time, and my kids are just devouring it for the first time. And it's not like I have to chase them down and say, hey, look, read this. Once we got past the first sort of 50, 60 pages, they were in, right? And they're just off and running. And if you've read the books before, if you haven't read the books, everybody has a different opinion on it. These initial 6 books have sort of this one party of characters that kind of travel together. Everybody's like, well, who's the smart one of the group? Who's the leader of the group? I think it's hidden, but I think Tasselhoff Barefoot is really the brains of the operation. He's a little bit weird, but he's always good for comic relief, and he always has a way to solve the problem. It just may not be the way everybody likes. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more in-depth look at some of the later books. This book has been discussed ad nauseum by everybody. I probably can't add anything to that conversation that hasn't been said before, but if you're looking for a way to get into Dragonlance books and the place to start, this book is it. The Chronicles trilogy is the right place. There is some debate about Dragons of Summer Flame being the 4th book in the Chronicles series. It kind of is, cousin is. We'll discuss that much later. It actually came out way after the first trilogy came out. It technically is part of it, but it really should not be read sort of fourth. It should be read much later in the series. But if you're looking for a place to start, the #1 book to read, the first place to go is this guy right here. So enjoy it, read it. It's fantastic. It's still in print. You can get it in paperback. You can get an older copy like mine, has the original artwork on it. You can also, I think it's on audiobook as well. So, there's any number of ways to devour this thing. I know it's on ebook. But I love it. By the way, I'm not part of TSR. I'm not part of Wizards of the Coast. I don't make anything by telling you to go read the book. But I do think you'll enjoy it. So everybody have a great day. If you're trying to get into Dragonlance, start here. This is the place.